We are back on Let's Have It Out. Time for another call. We have Keneilwe from Four Ways on the line. Hi, Keneilwe. What is your question or comment?
Hi. I'm finding it very difficult to follow the argument of your guest. To me, it feels like, what we usually say as younger women is that the older women, and I'm generalizing, I know, are the biggest guards of patriarchy and oppression of women. And for me, the argument that I'm hearing, she's not even giving you as the host a chance to explain. She seems to be arguing matters that happened in pre-colonial times. The issues we're dealing with now in corporate and in our homes and in our marriages are very different from what happened in the colonial period. So we cannot argue the fact that there is such a thing called male privilege, the same way as we have other types of privilege that I don't want to get into. But the current world as it sits favors men. That is a fact. So can she maybe just listen to your argument a little bit so that we can actually gain from her wisdom? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keneilwe. So I like the fact that Keneilwe raises this issue, right, about young black feminists, and that I suppose fundamentally what makes us different to feminists, whether they call themselves feminists at the time, but what makes our generation particularly very different, right, is that our feminism is not simply just feminism, simply about, the liberation of women and all of that. Okay. It's intersectional by its character. And now it employs a concept of intersectionality that describes the multiple ways and the multiple oppressions that are experienced by black women, right? These are oppressions that arise as a result of class, as a result of gender, and as a result of race, and so on and so forth, right? And so, I think when we give an analysis of where we are today, and you say, as women, we must come together and we must discuss these kinds of things and so on. I think we need to also appreciate the fact that there is a different experience. So it's not just a common thing as women, as women in general. There's a specific experience of black women that is rooted in the various forms of oppression. And you raised an argument about how even in your work, you often encounter forms of patriarchy. Despite the fact that in this divinity you are speaking about, men and women are supposedly seen as equals, yet you often get asked, what is this woman speaking about? Or, what is this woman, and so on. That is a reality. Whether it is a product of colonialism is a separate conversation. And it's a true conversation that colonialism exacerbated and gave ammunition. So it's not colonialism, Christianity as a religion, Judeo-Christianity, Islam gave ammo to a existing situation and exacerbated it, right? But you don't discount that on the fact that, on the basis that, pre-colonial Africa was like this. Let's talk about Africa today. Let's talk about the struggles that women are engaging on a day-to-day basis and how those are finding expression as a result of the dominance of men and the dominance of an ideology that is rooted in heteronormativity.
I've mentioned that today we are all going to hunt, so we come back. So you can't say just because you're a woman, you must cook. And again, what I don't like, even with this 50-50, I must not be put as a woman because I'm a woman. I must be put in there just because I can do it. So men must see me as a human being first, then as a woman.
But perhaps the issue that we are in this position that we are in today because men have refused to see women as human beings. And so we should, perhaps the issue wouldn't even be that men must see us, because once we wait for the validation of men to see us first as women before they can assert that our claim is legitimate, then we are entering into a slippery slope where we are going to need the validation of men to see us first and then legitimize us. Perhaps what black feminism is fundamentally about is that women should not wait for men to validate their existence, to demand it.
I think, Malaka, is the term that we have used of black feminism. I think that's the term that we have got a problem with. Because what I'm saying, you'll find even in political parties, women are put as deputy secretaries to take minutes. And then they will say there is a woman. We don't want that. We want people who are capable to do it. Don't put me there because I'm a woman.
I think also once you see, when you raise that argument, particularly about political organizations, right? I think deliberately refuse to engage a reality that informs that. Just a second, can I please give me a chance to finish this point? So the point of the matter is that the reason why you've got women who are put into positions that you may regard as being subordinate, right? Or women not being given, not or rather not leading at the president or at the level of like presidents or at very powerful senior positions and so on, is precisely because of the existence of this heteronormative reality in which men have privileged bodies, right? But I mean, I suppose also what makes black feminism particularly very radical is the fact that ours is not one that simply says, that sees the world simply in binaries, where there's women and there's men. Our struggle is an intersectional struggle. What of the LGBTI community? I've read some of your views about that. I'm interested in understanding where you position them in the conversation.
Okay, I'll come to that. First of all, I've got a problem with the term black feminism, as if we are taking it from white feminism. Because once you say black feminism, that means there's white feminism. So why can't we come up with our own term to fight our own struggles? Then I want to come to your question. The question of LGBT. The problem, I was once interviewed by somebody else. I said, you know, the problem with our young people is because they are not teaching us. We are open to be taught. They are not teaching us. What they are doing, they are forcing us. Don't force us. Just tell me. So, for instance,
when you say we must teach you, we must not force it upon you, what are you saying? And you raise this in the context of the LGBTI community, yes, that has for very many decades fought and waged a relentless struggle.
Let me give you an example. I'm a freelance presenter in Nokuzola Mndende. Now, at one stage, I interviewed some LGBT guys from Durban. And the way they taught me, and I said, serious, it was one who was a girl and now is a boy. And then she taught me. And then what I'm saying is for you to teach us, not to impose. The problem, you are imposing. And then we refuse to listen.
Okay, I think there is a particular level of violence in the insistence that people need to teach you how to be, for you to accept them.
Yes.
These are people's realities, these are people's experiences, and they don't become illegitimate on the grounds that you are not willing to understand because of years of how you've been socialized.
In my culture, I've got Malaika, who is my firstborn male. And according to firstborn male, he is going to lead the rituals.
I'm sorry, Mama.
My firstborn male now, one is a girl. So teach me now, where should I change from this?
I'm going to have to cut you off on that, Mama. That's a very interesting line of conversation that we unfortunately do not have time for. That's all that we have for this edition of Let's Have It Out. Remember to keep the conversation going on social media using the hashtag LHIO. Tomorrow night, Rekhotsofetse Chikane, known as Khotso Chikane, will be on this chair. You don't want to miss that conversation. I'm Malaika wa Azania. Good night.